Okay, so in the construction there are different items like excavation is there, then RCC work is there, brick masonry is there, plaster, brick, then tile work, dado, plumbing, electric work. Okay, so all these elements that you have to consider in the approximate estimate what they do for RCC X amount is there, for say brick masonry generally Y amount is there, and all these are summed up and we reach to a final amount approximately. Then what is the specification? Specification means, for example, if the tile is there, okay, there will be n number of tiles that are available in the market. So the cost it ranges from say 60 rupees per square foot to 200 to 50 rupees per square foot. Okay, so which unit rate that we are supposed to take, that depends on the specification. Okay, what type of tile we are supposed to use, what is the brand, okay, and whether it is locally available or it is purchased from somewhere else. So all this is nothing but a specification of that particular tile. Okay, so that is also it is playing a major role in deciding the unit rate of that particular item. So one by one we will see this. So first is the estimate. What is the estimate? Estimate for any construction work is defined as the process of calculating quantities and cost of the various items required in connection with the work. Okay. It is prepared by calculating quantities from the dimension of the dimensions that is given in the drawing for the various items required and to complete the project, and multiplied by the unit cost of the item concerned. So approximate estimate and detailed estimate. So stage one, we will study some approximate estimates. In the approximate estimate, there are again two types, direct cost and indirect cost. Okay. Direct cost means what? The land cost, the material cost, and the labor cost. These are the direct cost that you can see the cost that is actually attached with the construction. Indirect cost is nothing but site development cost, then consultancy expenses, then maybe administrative expenses. Administrative expenses, maybe you are appointing the PMC for the construction work. Consultants means there is architect, there is a structural consultant, there is a maybe the geotechnical consultant is there, maybe plumbing or fire consultant is there. So all these consultancies, they have some charges. Okay, so that particular charges they comes under the consultancy expenses. Administrative expenses, like for executing a project you need some uh, agency, you can say, like a project management consultancy, that can be added into the administrative expenses. Then supervision expenses, maybe you are appointing some engineers on the site, okay, for supervising the work, that comes under the supervision expenses. Then miscellaneous expenses which cannot be categorized, so that is under the miscellaneous expenses. We will move to the direct cost. So direct cost is nothing but the land cost, right? This plays actually very important role in any project. Okay, especially when the project is in the city area, in the corporation limit. That time this land cost it plays a major role in the total cost of the project, because land cost is very high, and land it cannot be produced. We have to use whatever the available land is there, that much only we have to use. So there is always a scarcity of the land for the residential projects, you can say, or any project, right? So day by day the land cost is going on increasing, it never comes down, it is always increasing. So this has a major role, this land cost. The next one comes the material cost. Okay, whatever the material that we are using for the construction, It may be cement, sand, brick, tiles, paint, plumbing material, then electrical material. So all these material, it has some cost, right? And the third and most important parameter is the labor cost. Okay, whatever the labor that is required for that particular construction work, maybe RCC work, maybe tiling work, brick masonry work, plumbing, electrification. So all these labors, it will have some cost. So that cost is nothing but a labor cost. So these are the three important direct costs that are involved in a project. Now, what are the indirect cost? Indirect cost is the site development. Okay, in the site development, what comes? Leveling the site. Okay, there may be some undulation in the site, so leveling the site. Okay, maybe you have to prepare the road, you have to drill the bore for the water. Okay, then labor huts you have to put on the site. So these are all comes under the site development work. Then next is the consultancy expenses. As I told you, architectural expenses are there, geotechnical experts if there, that consultancy is there, then structural consultant is there, then maybe in some cases plumbing consultant is separate, firefighting consultant is separate, electrical consultant is separate, HVAC consultant is separate. So all these consultancies, so they have some charges and that comes under the consultancy expenses. Administrative charges, okay, to keep the records and all the documentation, some administration work is there, that comes under the administrative expenses. Supervision means or actual site supervision, engineer and supervisor, and maybe some top management, all that will cost something. So that comes under the supervision charges. Miscellaneous, which cannot be categorized, okay, that comes under the miscellaneous expenses. So this is a table generally that shows the breakup. If you take any project, what are the percentage of these different costs? Okay, here you will see the material cost is the maximum cost that is coming in the project. Okay, just a minute. Right. So material cost, it is nearly 62%. This is not fixed, but this is approximate because it will vary from project to project. Okay. Then the next biggest cost is the labor cost. It is near about 24%. That is the labor cost. Then sanction cost. What is the sanction cost? Anyone have any idea? Sanction cost?
सर प्लॅन अप्रुव्हल वगैरे.
Yes. Plan approval and you have to take permission for different type of work on your site. Okay. Like you have to take the NOC from the sewage department. You have to take NOC from the MSCB. You have to take permission from the building permission from the building permission department. You have to get the plan sanctioned. Then ENA cost is there. So all these cost, all the sanction, it has some cost that is known as a sanction cost. So generally it is considered as 3% of the total cost. Okay, then plot development cost. Just we discussed for leveling and whatever you maybe want some temporary fencing, some labor huts like that. So that cost will be plot development cost. Okay, that is near nothing but near about 0.88%. Okay, 0.88%. Then consultancy expenses, okay, that is near about 3.1%. And administrative costs, these are the administrative cost. Okay, so this is a table. What this table is showing, can you see the text in this particular slide? Is it readable?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as we discussed, the first item is land cost, right? And then direct cost. Land cost, actually it is not given here because land cost, it varies a lot. Okay, from maybe say 10,000 rupees per gunta to maybe 50 lakh rupees per gunta. Per gunta means 1000 square foot. We call it as a gunta, right? So it varies a lot. It depends on the area in which the land is. So that's why it is not given. And the other cost is the material expenses, labor expenses. Okay. So if you take a building, this is all about the building. Huh? So if you take the material expenses, this is nothing but 7,500 rupees per square meter. That is what is the material cost. So material cost is nearly 7,500 rupees square meter. So if you convert it into the square foot, it will be around 750 rupees per square foot. Okay. Generally in local language, everything is in the per square foot. So if you just want to calculate a rough estimate, so material cost will be around 750 rupees per square foot, that you keep in mind. Rates per square foot approximate rounded, it is 700 rupees. Okay, and cost percentage is calculated as 61.95. Similarly, labor expenses is 2,900, that will be around 270 rupees per square foot, and the percentage cost is 24%. So it is very helpful for the people who want to go in costing and estimation, or for the site engineers. Okay, these basic figures are very much important for you. Okay, then next is the indirect cost. The sanction expenses, it is 377 rupees. You can say 35 rupees per square foot, 3%. Plot development 108 rupees per square meter, around 10 rupees per square foot. Okay, site development 35 rupees per square foot. Consultancy expenses 15 rupees square foot. Right now we are focusing on the square foot because these are widely used unit. Administrative expenses 15, supervision expenses 15, site running expenses 20, and these are the contingencies. 1.5% contingency is added. Okay, contingency, or we can say miscellaneous items. So that is near about 15 rupees. So total it comes out to be 1130. That is the basic cost, basic cost of the building. So it will cost around 1130 rupees per square foot. Okay, this is the material cost backup. Okay, here what we saw that in a project there will be different segments. Okay, and we saw that how the different segment will have their contribution in the costing. Now we will consider only the material part, okay, that material part of the project, and in that particular material part there will be different types of materials, okay, then what is the percentage of that different types of material, right, that we will see here in this chart. First item is cement. Just a minute. Okay, so here the this chart is given, actually there is some error I think, so directly we will move on to this. Okay, so you see cement, what is the percentage, that is 18% nearly. If you consider the total material as 100, so 18% will be the cement, 15% will be the steel, sand will be 11.43. So in this, if you consider these three items and maybe bricks here, these four items, it contributes more as per the percentage considered. Okay, and rest of the items are maybe aggregate 5% only. Then wood, if you are using the wood, then 7.14%, window and glazing 5%, floor 10% around, plumbing 9% around, electrical material that is around 5%, painting around 2%, other building material that will be around 4%, and miscellaneous will be around 2%. Okay, why actually this particular chart is required? Because you must know key what is the percentage of each and every item. Okay, so from this chart it is clear that cement and steel they contribute most, and bricks, to that particular project, and sand is also there. Okay, so labor cost breakup as per the various items where the labors are required more, and this is required for the planning as well. Okay, so from this you can conclude that for RCC work more percentage of labor are required, right? Just a minute. Yes. Yeah. So 35% of labor cost is engaged in the RCC work, and nearly same percentage is engaged in the masonry and plaster work. So your major work is 35 means 70% of the cost of the labor, it is involved in the RCC work and the masonry work. Then rest of the work is plumbing, water piping, carpentry, tile fixing, electrical, okay, TV antenna points, painting, and departmental labors. Departmental labors means for miscellaneous work. Okay, so this is how the labor breakup is there. From this you come to know कि RCC and brick masonry, it has a major role. The laborers involved in the RCC and brick masonry, they have the major role in the construction. Now again, this is calculated as per the square foot rate. Okay. So for RCC work, what is the labor cost per square foot of the plan area? This is most important. Okay. For site engineer, this factor must be known. Then second one is masonry and plaster work. 60 rupees per square foot. Per square foot of what? This is a plan area. Keep in mind. This is not a wall area. This is a plan area. For example, your house is of say 1200 square foot in the plan area. Then 1200 into this 60. That will be your cost of the labor for the masonry and plaster work. Similarly here, 1200 into 95, that will be the cost of your RCC work. These are purely labor rates. Plumbing work, nearly 15 rupees per square foot. Waterproofing work, 12 rupees per square foot. This is not actually, when you are in the practice, this is actually does not have that much significance as this one is. Okay, when you are planning, that time only this percentage you have to consider, but once you have to finalize the contractor and you have to calculate the approximate budget for that particular activity, then these are the numbers. They will be very much helpful for you to find out the budget. Okay, carpentry work nearly 8 rupees per square foot. Tile fixing work 30 rupees per square foot. Electrical work 18. CCTV antenna. Then this painting work 15. Department labors 12 rupees. Okay, and these all the items unit rates, they are derived from the previous projects. So far whatever the projects is done, whatever the costing is there, from that these numbers are arrived. These numbers may change, but not much. Maybe you can consider a 10 to 15% variation will be there. Okay. For approximate estimation of the steel, because most tedious work is quantity calculation of a steel. It is very complex process. Okay, you must understand the drawing, and then you have to calculate all the detail lengths of the bars with the diameters, and then only you will get the quantity of the steel. So it is much time consuming job for quantity calculation of a reinforcement. So these are some of the guidelines, thumb rule you can say, that is given for the quick estimation or rough estimation for the steel work. What does it say? It says that for footing you can take 0.5% to 1% of the for ordinary building. Now what is this 0.5%? 0.5% किसका निकाला? So this is the percentage of the concrete. Okay. Then For column, 0.8% to 4%. Then for beam, 1%. For slab, 1%. For lintel, 0.8%. And for sunshades, that is 0.5 to 0.8%. So this is about the approximate estimate. So these are the some of the unit rates that is given for quick calculation of the budget. Now the next stage is detail estimate. So we will take one simple example, right? This is the architectural plan, and there is a single room, 2.69 by 2.69, say. Okay, and door sizes is given as 1.2 by 2.1, window is given 1.5 by 1.5. Okay, and we will start the detail estimate of this particular plan. This is the second drawing. This is the plan that is given, and this is the section that is given. Here there is a RCC slab on the top. Then this is the floor beam. This is the floor beam. Okay, this is the beam. This top is a slab, and these are the columns, vertical. These are the columns. What is this? In the construction sequence, we have already studied. This is the plain beam, right? This is again column, right? And this is floor beam. This is lintel beam. This is footing, and this is PCC. This is PCC. This is what is given in the section. Actually, I have taken very simple example so that it will be easy for us to understand the quantity estimation. Then lintel level. This is the lintel level. This level is nothing but a lintel level, and this we call it as a chajja, lintel and chajja. And this is the brick, sorry, window. This is the brick masonry structure. DPC is given over here. Anyone know what is DPC? At plinth level, DPC layer is given. What is that DPC?
Dam
Anyone
proof
have?
course.
Yeah?
Dam proof
Yes.
course.
Yes, dam proof course. What does it do actually?
It protects from the water logging.
Yes.
It protects from the water logging
Water logging where?
from ground to the inner surface of a room.
From ground to the wall you are saying, or room you are saying.
Yes, sir.
No, where? In the room? Water won't come in the room because of DPC. That is what you are saying?
Yes, sir.
In the room or in the wall?
Both in the room, sir.
In the room. Okay. After finishing this, we will discuss on this. Okay. DPC. What is that DPC? Then the brick masonry in the plinth level. Actually, there are two types of structure, substructure and superstructure, isn't it? So in the substructure, brick masonry is given, maybe thickness, many times the thickness is different, maybe material is also different. Here we have used brick, in some cases we use the stone masonry, right? So this is how the section is. And plinth level is 0.6 meter above the ground level. Excavation depth is 1.5 meter. And this is the structural layout. A very simple plan is taken. 4 columns are there and beams, fuller beams. Size of the room is given. Size of the wall is given 0.23 meter. Size of column also given 0.23 by 0.6. Beam size is 0.23 by 0.35. Okay. Height of plinth above ground level is 0.25. See here, height of plinth is above ground level is 0.25. Okay. Then in the previous drawing, it is given 0.6, right? So is it right or is that is wrong? Here it is given 0.25 and here it is given 0.6. So this is right or wrong? You got my question? Plinth level here it is given 0.6 meter. Okay, read the drawing carefully. Right, now I will move to the next slide. Here it is given 0.25. Read the sentence carefully. Is it right or there is some error? Drawing reading is also a very important skill. If you are working as a quantity estimator, so you have to read each and every line very carefully. अरे कोई तो बोलो, बराबर है गलत है कुछ तो, से समथिंग. क्या कुछ समझा ही नहीं, या क्वेश्चन ही नहीं समझा? ऐसा बोलो कि सर आई डिड नॉट गेट योर क्वेश्चन. Okay, if time permits, we will discuss in the last 5 minutes. This is a sample of the measurement sheet. Okay, here volume of a concrete in the beam. Two numbers of beams are given. Length is 2.69, width is 0.23, height is 0.35. Okay, where it is given? Is 2.69. First is 2. Okay, 2 is nothing but they have considered this one and maybe this one or this one or this one, because right now it is a square. You can take any two numbers. 2.69 is the length. Clear, column to column face length is 2.69. Then 0.23 is the width of the beam, 0.35 is the depth of the beam. Total quantity will be 2 into 2.69 into 0.23 into 0.35. So that will be 0.43. The unit is meter cube. That is the quantity of what? Plinth beam concrete. Okay. This is the just format of the standard measurement sheet. Item number, description of the item, numbers, then length, breadth, height, quantity, total quantity, unit, and remark. This is the abstract sheet. In the abstract sheet, only difference is that rate is also mentioned there. Okay. Description is quantities are taken from the measurement sheet, then quantities mentioned over here, unit is mentioned, and rate is given here as per the unit. For example, if this is measured say in the meter cube, say 20 meter cube, then you have to mention per meter cube what is the rate, okay, and the total amount will be here. This is what earthwork. So our first quantity calculation, what is that? Excavation. Now footing size is 1.75 by 1.4 by 0.45 meter. Size of the column is 0.23 by 0.6 meter. Thickness of the PCC is 0.1 meter. PCC projection is 0.1 meter. So can anyone tell me how much the size of the excavation that we should consider? If the size of footing is 1.75 by 1.4 and depth is 0.45. So what should be the size of the excavation that we should consider? कितना कंसिडर करना चाहिए?
सर एक्स्ट्रा ही लेंगे ना उसके.
हाँ, कितना? अप्रोक्सीमेट बताओ, तुमको क्या लगता है वो बताओ. थोड़ा डिस्कशन होना चाहिए क्योंकि देखो देयर आर नो फिक्स एंड परफेक्ट रूल्स कि भाई फुटिंग के बाहर इतना ही लेना चाहिए, उतना ही लेना चाहिए. नो, बट यू शुड गिव some justification for that.
2 meter by 1.75 meter.
1.75. So additional how much you are taking and what are the parameters that we should consider? Actually, in the construction sequence, we have already discussed this. How much additional we should take and what are the parameters that we should consider while considering the additional excavation size. What are the parameters that we should consider? Because in the drawing only these footing dimensions are given. As a quantity estimator, you have to consider the additional footing size, sorry, excavation size. So there won't be any guideline that is given in the drawing कि तुम इतना extra पकड़ो और उसके बाद में calculation करो. No, that you have to consider yourself. तो कौन सा पैरामीटर कंसिडर करोगे? क्या सोच के तुम ज्यादा करोगे? किस चीज के लिए तुमको ज्यादा चाहिए? फॉर व्हाट पर्पज यू नीड द एडिशनल एक्सकवेशन?
Construction at comfort.
मीन्स व्हाट?
सर एक्चुअली ज़्यादा जगह लगेगी ना वो सेट करने के लिए, यूज़ करने के लिए.
क्या यूज करना है? बी स्पेसिफिक. क्या यूज करना है? मुझे बाजू में जेसीबी घुमाने का है क्या?
नहीं 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 सर, उतना ही सर.
हाँ, then what, for what I need additional excavation? I will try to save my cost. So what I will try to do, I will try to excavate only whatever the dimension is given in the particular drawing. So what problem I will face if I go for this particular dimensions? अरे कंस्ट्रक्शन सीक्वेंस इतना बताया ना भाई, शटरिंग सिस्टम बताया, सब बताया.
Sir,
Yeah,
for working place requirement,
yes, working place, yes, correct. What else?
Shuttering purpose.
Yes, shuttering purpose means you have to consider two things. One is the thickness of the shuttering. For example, this is the footing. Okay, this is the footing, and you're putting the shuttering over here, right? And on this side, how much area you are supposed to left? For that, applied thickness will be there. And one more thing is that you have to give the supports, isn't it? A support is required. And after the support, whatever is there, you can consider that as an additional one, right? This is one thing, right? Secondly, if the depth of the excavation is more and the soil is loose, black cotton soil, then you have to go for more excavation, because that should not fall down on the labors or the material. That will be an accident. So depending on the site condition, you have to consider this. Secondly, the depth of the footing, foundation depth. What is foundation depth? Yes. See, this 1.5, this is the foundation depth. Okay. So for quantity calculation, roughly you can consider that whatever depth is there, you are going for a 45-degree slope like this. A 45-degree slope you can consider. So this is 1.5. So additionally, you have to consider 1.5. This is tentative, I am telling you. You have to take the decision on the site. It may be 1 meter, sometimes even 0.5 meter is okay. Okay. So right now I am considering as a 45-degree. So 45 here, 45 here. Okay. And then you go for the excavation. Is there any role of the column while deciding the dimension of the excavation? No, it doesn't have any role. Okay. Then thickness of the PCC is 0.1 and PCC projection 0.1. What is this PCC projection? See here, this offset. This offset is nothing but PCC projection. That means we never take PCC in line with the footing. We always take a projection outside. Why? Why this projection is required? अरे किसी को भी आइडिया नहीं है?
Sir, from the
yes.
ground, water
Huh?
resistance.
What? वाटर रेजिस्टेंस? किधर से वाटर रेजिस्टेंस आएगा भाई? पीसीसी प्रोजेक्शन लिए तो वाटर रेजिस्टेंस का क्या उसमें कुछ रिलेशन है क्या? You just note down the points. Huh? If you ask me why it is provided in the next session, then only I will answer. If you are not interested, I am also not interested in telling you. Okay, because I don't have a habit to ask you question and give the answer. You should ask me question, then I will answer. Okay. Okay. This is one of the real photographs. Okay. The side distance for shuttering and other workspace. Depth of the footing is 1.5. This black color is PCC. This blue color is footing, and green is the column. Okay. So this is the calculation, length of the PCC into 2 times side distance, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह, 2.85. Okay. Width of the excavation is same. Only here instead of 1.7 you have to take 1.4, and you can calculate the length and width of the excavation in the plan, and depth is 1.5, that is already given in the drawing. What is given? Side distance of for planking and strutting depends on the depth of the foundation, as we discussed, type of the soil strata. For hard rock, the size of the excavation is taken as equal to the size of the PCC. If hard rock is there, the hard rock it can withstand in a straight line. Okay, so there is no chance of collapse. So directly you can take as the size of the PCC. For example, this is in the hard rock. Okay, and this is your PCC. Okay, and this is your footing. So how much is this one is taken? Only 0.1 mm if the hard rock is there. Okay, if soft soil, side distance provided equal to the space required to support the shuttering and planking in 45-degree angle, as I discussed just now. The minimum side distance provided equal to the depth of the footing. So earthwork in the backfilling. Backfilling is what? Volume of the backfilling. This yellow color hatch line is given. That is nothing but a backfilling. This shade is nothing but this shade. That is the volume of the foundation, column and footing. This gray color, it is the volume of the PCC, and this one is the volume of the soil. So what is given? Volume of the work for the backfilling, volume of excavation minus volume of the foundation minus volume of PCC. So if you want to calculate the backfilling, this yellow, so this total area minus the area of the column, footing and PCC, that will automatically give the area of the backfilling into whatever the depth is there. That if that is given, then you will get the volume of the backfilling. So this is nothing but a same calculation. It is given over here. So the concept, it is very clear to you. This total volume minus the volume occupied by the column and footing and PCC. If that is deducted, then you will get the volume of the backfilling. So this is the sheet. Okay, earthwork in excavation in backfilling. In earthwork, length is 2.85, width is 2.5, depth is 1.5. This multiplication will result into this quantity. Okay, so total quantity, because number is 1, so it is multiplied 1, total quantity will come out to be same 10.7 meter cube. Okay, in the backfilling, with that formula just we studied, with that formula we calculate the backfilling and directly we put the quantity over here. So disposal, disposal is what? Whatever the quantity is balanced after backfilling. Once we excavate, after constructing the footing and column, we backfill, and whatever the soil that is balanced, that is, we have to dispose that soil, that quantity. How we are going to calculate that? Volume of the excavation minus volume of the backfilling. That is very easy. Okay, so sketches are shown here. Volume of backfill, volume of foundation, volume of PCC, soil below. So this is all about the quantity calculation till the backfilling. Anyone has any doubt? डीपीसी के बारे में किसी ने सोचा?
सर ओवरऑल रहेगा, ओवरऑल स्प्लिट रहेंगे सर वो.
ओवरऑल क्या?
DPC is provided overall the whole area where we constructed. Yeah, it includes the brickwork also, sir.
So you are saying only in the brickwork the DPC is provided.
No, sir.
Then
With including brickwork, whole the area will be covered
whole
in a
plinth area
DPC.
you are saying.
Yes, yes, yes.
I will draw the sketch here. Okay, this is the brick masonry. And this is the plinth level. Right. So this is a section. This is brick. Okay. So what do you want to say? You want to say that I will provide the DPC here like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone has any other opinion different than this? एक्चुअली ब्रिक मेसनरी नीचे से आ रहा है ना, क्योंकि ये तुम्हारा सॉरी ये ग्राउंड लेवल है, ये प्लिंथ लेवल है, राइट? दिस इज योर ग्राउंड लेवल, मे बी दिस इज कमिंग फ्रॉम हियर, it is like this. Yeah, so you are saying this is right now? Hello, is this right?
Sir,
Sir,
Hel-
after plain beam, we are providing a spreading a concrete, and over
No,
that we are providing a depression.
my plinth beam is, say, I will draw with different color so that it will be very much clear, right? My plinth beam is here in the section. The beams are running parallel to the plane of my screen. Okay, this is the situation, and this is the construction that I have done for the retaining the soil, that I am going to do the backfilling in the plinth area. Okay, this area, this is nothing but my plinth backfilling. Now the sketch is clear to you. This is our beam, this is brick masonry below the plinth level substructure, and this is the superstructure, and this is what the DPC you are saying. So are you, do you want to say the same thing, or you want to make some correction, or anyone else? Okay, no problem. So actually it is not provided like this full. Okay, it is provided only in this particular area below the plinth, below the brick masonry here. Only this much area you are supposed to provide the DPC. Only this much area. Okay, and not the full. This is PCC. This, now you can see this blue color. This is a PCC. So what is the purpose for this? If there is a water into the ground, okay, what it will do, because of the capillary action, it will be soaked into the brick masonry and it will try to raise up because of the capillary action. If this DPC is not provided, then there will be a dampness in this particular area. Okay, and as brick is very porous, it will suck the water immediately. So what we are doing, we are creating one barrier over here in the brick masonry. Okay, so that whatever the water is coming, it is not passing through this layer and it will be stopped here itself. There won't be any dampness in the wall in the superstructure. That is what our purpose is. There is no need of any waterproofing over here if it is on the ground floor. Is it clear
Thank you, sir.
or you have any
Yes,
doubt?
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other question? Okay. So today we will conclude.
So about that PCC projection.
Yes, PCC projection. Okay. Actually, this PCC projection is given for the shuttering. Okay. I will draw the sketch. Okay. You have to put the shuttering for the footing. Okay. So there has to be some level ground below. For that, this projection is given to facilitate the erection of the shuttering placing. That projection is given. There is no other purpose than that. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other doubt?
Sir, length of that particular point 45 and point 6 of plinth.
Ah, okay, you remember. Good. Where was it? Yes, it is here. Here it is given 0.6. And here, where it is that? Yes, this one. Here it is given height of plinth above ground level 0.25. So this is wrong. This is not plinth. This has to be plinth beam. Here it should be plinth beam because that is required for your quantity calculation. Sorry. So plinth beam is 0.25 above the ground level and plinth level is 0.6 meter. Now what is this? Is there any difference between the plinth beam level and plinth level? You are getting what I'm saying? I will draw the sketch so that it will be clear. Just now actually I had drawn that sketch, but again I will draw it. This is the say plinth beam. Okay, this is the ground. Then brick masonry. And this is the plinth level. And this is what? This is a superstructure brick masonry. This is how the generally the construction section is there, plinth level section. This is what? Plinth beam. So generally the top of the beam, it is 0.25 above the ground level, 0.25 above the ground. That is what it is mentioned in that slide. And here it is mentioned this distance. This is the natural ground level below and this is the plinth level. This is plinth level. And this is ground level. So this distance from here to here 0.6 and this projection beam top from the natural ground level, that is 0.25. Because on this quantity will vary. Quantity of the brick masonry, it will vary, right? If your plinth beam is quite below into the ground, then this will increase this particular item. Okay, therefore that is given. You understood this now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other question?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.